Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Saturday, May 21st, 2016, around 3:07 in the afternoon. Some news to report. Last night, the Cleveland Indians beat the Boston Red Sox by the score of 4-2. Clay Buchholz sucks, in my opinion. I just hope the Red Sox trade him or release him. Also, in Stanley Cup playoffs, Game 4 last night, the Tampa Bay Lightning beat Pittsburgh Penguins by the score of 3-2 to stay even at two games apiece. And the Texas Rangers have signed a new lease with Arlington, Texas, to stay there to 2054. The city of Arlington, Texas, and the Texas Rangers are in talks to replace Global Park Stadium with a new retractable roof stadium in Arlington. There was rumors that Dallas was going to try to woo the Rangers to be playing in a baseball-only ballpark, but that's not going to happen. And sad news to report in the world of baseball, former Major League Baseball player Jim Ray Hart passed away at the age of 74. So prayers to his family. And that's about it on news. My first video blog subject of the day is my review of Starrcade 1989 that took place in Atlanta, Georgia, December 1989. It was Future Shock. It was Iron Man and Iron Team. 4 WCW teams were involved in the Iron Team tournament, and 4 of the top WCW wrestlers were involved in the Iron Man tournament. And this was a concept that was kind of, in my humble opinion, pointless, and especially happening on probably the biggest paid-per-view of WCW's year's Starrcade 1989. Usually Starrcade is when all feuds, big feuds throughout the year in WCW culminate, not putting a tournament to determine the best tag team and the best singles wrestler on in WCW. That's just my humble opinion. And the teams that were in the Iron Team tournament were the Steiner Brothers, Doom, the Legion of Doom, the World Warriors, and the New Wild Samoans, Fatu and the Samoan Savage. And involved in this Iron Man competition was Sting, Lex Luger, Nature Boy Ric Flair, and the Great Muta. Calling the action was Jim Ross, and he had Terry Funk calling his color man for the singles matches, and Jim Cornette for the tag team matches. And the Omni was half full for this event. That's a shame because that's WCW's home base. And here's the results for the matches. The first match had Rick and Scott, the Steiner Brothers, the WCW World Tag Team Champions, facing off against Doom, Ron Simmons, and Butch Reed. They were under mask at the time, and they had Woman and her bodyguard Nitron in their corner. And this was a back and forth match. And the ending had 4 teams, 4 of the wrestlers, all 4 of them battling outside the ring. And the ring announcer says 1 minute to go. And Rick knocks out Ron Simmons in the ring post. And he goes back in the ring. And the referee counts both wrestlers, Doom out. And the Steiners win this. Actually, this match only went 12 minutes and stuff. It was actually 15 minutes, but I think what they say time limit does is actually goes maybe a couple of minutes before. The next match was an Iron Man match. It was Lex Luger, United States Champion, facing off against Sting. The Luger's title was not on the line in this one. It was about a 12-minute match. Back and forth, ending had Lex Luger pin Sting using the ropes. The next match was the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal facing off against, they were with Precious Paul Ellering, facing off against Doom, Butch Reed, and Ron Simmons under mask with Woman and Nitron. And this match was about 6 minutes. It was, back and forth. Ending had the Road Warriors give Butch Reed the Doomsday Device, and then Animals pins Butch Reed for the 1, 2, 3. The next match was Ric Flair, the WCW World Champion, with Arn Anderson and Ole Anderson in his corner, facing off against the WCW Television Champion at the time, the Great Muta, with Gary Hart, and he also had Buzz Sawyer and the Dragon Master, the J-Tex Corporation in his corner. Ole and Arn kept the Dragon Master and Buzz Sawyer at bay. The ending had Ric Flair pin the inside cradle on the Great Muta, pinning him 1, 2, 3. The announcers were hyping that the Great Muta did not suffer any pinfall loss since coming to WCW, but this was the first time he lost a match. The next match was Rick and Scott Steiner, the WCW World Tag Team Champions, facing off against Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, with Precious Paul Ellering. Before the match, all 4 wrestlers shook hands, and it was a classic match. Ending had the Road Warriors give Scott Steiner the Doomsday Device, but Hawk pinned him the same time, pinned himself because Scott Steiner got his shoulder up, so the Steiners beat the LOD. The next match was Sting facing off against the WCW Television Champion, the Great Muta, with Gary Hart in his corner. And the TV title was not on the line in this match, and this match was a great match. Sting pins the Great Muta with an inside cradle. No, with a superplex off the top rope. Don't see Sting do that move. I think that was the first time he won a match with that move. The next match was the New Wild Samoans, which was Fatu and the Samoan Savage, who used to be Tama and the Tonga Kid, with Sir Oliver Humperdinck, facing off against Doom, which was Ron Simmons and Butch Reed under mask with Woman and Nitron. It was both 2 heel teams. I think the New Wild Samoans played the de facto baby faces, and the crowd was, booing both teams, and the ending had Butch Reed and Fatu collide in mid-ring, and the referee was being distracted by Ron Simmons and the Samoan Savage, and Sir Oliver Humperdinck comes in the ring and puts Fatu on Butch Reed, and the referee turns around, makes the 3 count, so the Wild Samoans beat Doom. The next match was Lex Luger, United States Champion, WCW United States Champion, facing off against the Nature Boy Ric Flair, the WCW World Champion. And this match was a 15-minute time limit draw. Actually, the match only went 13 minutes or so they just had to cut it down a couple minutes to try to get all these matches in, and it was a decent match. The next match was the New Wild Samoans, who was Fatu and the Samoan Savage, with Sir Oliver Humperdinck facing off against Rick and Scott Steiner, the Steiner brothers, the WCW World Tag Team Champions. And this match was about an 11-12 minute match. The New Wild Samoans won when Scott Steiner throw Fatu over the top rope. In WCW, if you throw a wrestler over the top rope, you're automatically disqualified, so the Steiners were disqualified. The next match was Lex Luger, the WCW United States Champion, facing off against the Great Muta with Gary Hart. WCW television champion, and this match went about 7-8 minutes. Both were heels, but Lex Luger was kind of playing the de facto babyface. And in the ending, when Luger was going for a clothesline, a Great Muta spit missed, and Lex Luger face right in the front of the referee, and the referee had to disqualify the Great Muta. The Great Muta was with Gary Hart. The next match was the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal, facing off against the New Wild Samoans. And this match determined who was going to be the Iron Team. And this match, the New Wild Samoans were Fatu and Samoan Savage. They were with Bahumpadink, and the LOD was with Precious Paul Ellering. And this match was a decent match, 7-8 minutes. The ending had Hawk pin the Samoan Savage for the 1-2-3. The LOD wins the Iron Team for the 1989 Starrcade. Though Rick and Scott Steiner come down and congratulate the LOD. That was great thing to do. If it was in the Vince Russo era of WCW, the Steiners probably attack the LOD and be heels. And the last match was to determine the Iron Man for Starrcade 1989. It was Sting facing off against 16-time against the WCW World Champion Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Woo! And this match was a classic match. It went back and forth. Ric Flair tried to put the figure 4 leg lock on Sting, but Sting reversed it into an inside cradle small package for the 1-2-3. Sting becomes the Iron Man. Afterwards, Ole Anderson and Arn Anderson came into the ring. They looked like they were going to attack Sting, but they held up the 4 Horsemen sign, and Ric Flair held up the 4 Horsemen sign, and Ric Flair and Sting shook hands, and the crowd went wild. And after a few weeks, Sting joined the 4 Horsemen, but a month later he was kicked out because he signed to face Ric Flair for a world title match at Wrestle War 90, and fellow members of the 4 Horsemen never challenged Ric Flair for the world title. That was his death warrant. That's what Ole Anderson says. Anyway, what did I think about the Starrcade 1989 pay-per-view? Even though the Iron Man and the Iron Team was a decent concept, it did not belong on the biggest pay-per-view in WCW's calendar. And most of these matches were kind of a little rushed because they had to get everything in. And I would give this a D, in my humble opinion. I don't think it's an F, but it's a D. Some decent, solid matches, but the rest of the card was, the format was, a little bit too rushed, in my humble opinion. And tomorrow I'll be reviewing Starrcade 1990 Collision Course, which had another tournament in it. It was the Pat O'Connell Memorial Senior Tag Team Championship, and this kind of like rushed Starrcade 1990. It was held in St. Louis, Missouri, Q Auditorium. Later on today, the last video blog of the night is going to be about MLB Network's host, Lawrence Shahadi. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Button guy. Molly Rose Blood of WCCO accent has nice legs. Elizabeth Hunt, so stunning, she's the best. Amy Swansea, so awesome. Linda Church of PIX 11 in New York is such a cougar, and she's got nice legs. And in the words of Bruce Cronin, former co-worker at Hot Hank State of Technology. Want to put a wager on that, Richie? Goodbye, see you tomorrow. See you later.